Gina Jumesi here, your favorite sickness practitioner. How you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing great. In today's video, I'm going to highlight, hopefully in a very short clip, about heartbreak, healing from a heartbreak, and not feeling stuck after a breakup or separation or divorce, wherever you are. So, if you want to change your mindset on the fact that having your heart broken, if you know you don't wish it on anyone, can be a really good space to reevaluate yourself, your patterns, your presentation, how you show up to this world, your tendency to people please, depending on how long you were in that relationship, or however you twisted yourself into a pretzel to make it work or keep it working. It's a reflection, it's a mirror to hone in on what went good, what didn't go too good that led to the breakup, and what can be done better in your nest to have that abundance of mindset. But you have to, in order to attract the right partner to yourself, you have to be that right person. Would you want to date yourself? Would you want to marry yourself? What do you see in yourself that's valuable? But you gotta be able to really verbalize it, write it down, so you don't keep attracting people who are toxic or dysfunctional. You notice the red flags in the relationship. That's the key. Noticing. It's not about what you attract. You can all attract whatever. People can put on a mask, they can pretend. But when you see and you notice the patterns, that's what I say, your ability to say no more or adjust how your engagement with that person is, adjusting it and saying, okay, I've navigated with you for a year, 2 years, 10 years, 5 years in this way, but I noticed this pattern about you and this pattern about me. So this is the way I'm shifting. So kind of like the boundaries for you to preserve yourself. Heartbreak cannot only happen in intimate relationship. Heartbreak can also happen in losses. Your loss of a job, loss of a loved one, a child moving away to college, a child getting married, leaving the house, a child getting sick, chronic illnesses, diagnosis, a changing career, a business failing, not doing good, really struggling financially, struggling your finances, just the daily grime of doing life, really not being in that space. Sometimes life in certain seasons just feels like nothing is just holding. You're just like in that grief process and your heart is breaking at every turn. So those can also accumulate to heartbreak. So the issue is there. Is there already? What are the solutions? I'm always a big avid of on finding solutions rather than, oh, why me? Why did this happen to me? What do I do now? What are the solutions? If you can't find a solution now, send that text, send that email, make that call, ask somebody. Closed mouth don't get fed. So long as you I can't say anything, you're people pleasing your way to it, you're gonna stay stuck. So after my divorce, I was like, oh my God, here I am in my 40s, going to go back to dating again. How's it gonna look like? What am I gonna do with this kid? Especially with a partner who's like completely not hands-on. It can leave you in a very scary place, and it can be like loss is like you lost a loved one. You are the only family member. You have to do all the things to make sure you honor them and get them the rest they need after they have passed on to be the Lord. That is a big, giant task. So the issue is here. You've lost that person, whether the person is going to be with the Lord or the person has gone with another partner. What do you do with yourself now? How do you carry? Ask for the help. Engage. Don't try not to despair, because the more that you despair, the more it's going to be like, oh, this is like an unsurmountable task. You got to tease it out one at a time. And then after that, post that fight or flight mode to get the thing done and settled, whether it's divorce, you sign the papers, whether it's burying that person, you did all that. Now, after, what do you do with yourself? Rebranding yourself is necessary. Looking out, different things. It might mean changing your house around or moving away. It might mean changing yourself, how you show up to the world, changing your hair, changing your physique, going to the gym, changing your diet, finding a better way to sleep. If sleep is an issue, going to get a sleep study. What are the core issues? Are you gain a bunch of weight? You have blood sugar, blood pressure issues? Go to the doctor, get it checked out. Are you afraid to get an STI from that partner who left you or who just broke up with you or ghosted you? Go check it out and find the solution, the next one. So I was like, oh my God, how do I deal? And then when I started to rebrand myself, when I started writing some of this workbook like this one, You're Not Broken, and you are there, you feel like you're broken, check out my workbook. It has journals in it. You can write your thoughts. You can purge those negative, intense thoughts out on there, where you get the guide, step-by-step guide to unlearning some of those patterns, people-pleasing patterns. But you got to stay ready for life to happen to you again. You got to stay ready for life to happen to you again. You got to stay ready for life to happen to you again. The accountability piece to yourself, the agency to your own self, to take up the mantle of your life and being ready. So if you're going through a separation or divorce or whatever, so you're ready, like you're going to the grocery store, even being home, you don't know who's going to walk into your home and all of a sudden you have the new person in your life. That has happened to me too. Like, you're working from home, don't look like a mess because you don't know.
Guys, the Wizard Liz's ex, Landon Nickerson, his previous girlfriend, Abby, has just come out with details about how he was physically, emotionally abusive in their previous relationship, would stalk her, and also got her pregnant. Listen up. Abby was in a relationship with Landon from 2023 to 2024, and they were in a relationship for a year before he started dating the Wizard Liz. I need you guys to brace yourself for this because it is actually insane. So Abby, she has a huge following here on TikTok. She has 1 million followers, okay? And Landon met her at the club. She was a bottle girl and he was there with his friends, and he took a liking to her. Now, something Abby openly talks about is that she had a lot of trauma. She had a lot of trauma from previous things that had happened to her in her life, and also a lot of trauma from her relationship with her parents. And so when Landon comes into the club that she's working at, she is being told by all these people, oh, this guy, his name's Landon, he's super smart, he's super sweet, he's this great guy, right? And at the time, she's 21 and still in school. So he takes an interest to her. He's being super nice, super friendly. But again, she has all this trauma and she's not looking for a relationship. So she tells him, hey, I just want to be friends. They're friends, they're hanging out. He's still actively pursuing her. And that's when she opens up to him about her trauma and is like, I'm not looking for a relationship because of this and this. And he just is so sweet and so nice and so understanding of all of her trauma that she really starts to open up to him and trust him enough to establish a relationship with him. So they start dating. Immediately after they start dating, he cheats on her. And Abby provides evidence that he cheated on her. But something that I want you to note in this is that he says biblical love does not keep score, okay? And this is a pattern that we're gonna see throughout this entire story of him using religion and God to justify him cheating. Now, she ends things with him because he cheated. And at this point is when he starts writing her love letters. He wrote her a book, sound familiar? And he also writes her a song. So she takes him back, okay? During their relationship, within just the first 4 months, Landon Nickerson cheats over 7 times that she is aware of. And then he'd cheat, he'd love bomb her, he'd give her thousands of flowers, send thousands of flowers to her house to get her back. And again, she went through a lot of trauma, a lot of emotional trauma, and she wasn't very, and when you're in this toxic, manipulative relationship, you're not very strong and able to understand love bombing. So this is where she claims and says that Landon Nickerson, the same guy that got the Wizard Liz pregnant, got Abby pregnant as well. And Abby has a miscarriage. Now, this is showing a pattern of Landon getting girls he is in abusive, toxic relationships with pregnant. And allegedly, seemingly, in order to trap these women into staying with him. Now, Abby talks about how Landon also gaslit her into thinking that she has BPD. And to the point where she had to go to a therapist, and the therapist told her, no, you don't have BPD. There's no way. I don't know where you got this from. So he's trying to gaslight her into thinking that she is mentally ill and that she needs him and she's the one who's unstable. Now, at this point, he starts telling her that she needs to quit being a bottle girl, even though that was where he found her and took a liking to her. And he says that he doesn't want to be with a girl who's a bottle girl, and it's not like religiously right or whatever excuse he made. But as he was telling her she needed to quit being a bottle girl, he was also actively cheating on her with other bottle girls. Now, not only that, she also claims that he was very physically abusive with her, and she shows a clip of him punching some sort of wall. It's a very short clip, so you can't really decipher much of it, but she claims that he was very physically abusive, also emotionally abusive, and he was physically abusive multiple times, allegedly. Now, I want you to note that while Abby is telling this story, she is like literally shaking, like her hands like literally are shaking like this, and she posted 3 parts, and in each of the parts, she's shaking. And also she shows that she's like broken out into hives from how stressed she is and how afraid she is to be telling this story. She also talks about how Landon when he would cheat on her and she would stop talking to him and say it's over, he would jump 10-foot fences to get into her apartment complex. And then the cycle kept repeating. He would cheat on her and then she'd block him on everything, and he'd send her thousands of emails from his work email. And she provides screenshots showing that he would send her all of just these love bombing, I want you back, I made a mistake, God forgives type of emails over and over and over again. And it's from his literal work email and the email of his company. Now, here's where things really hit the fan. So she officially ends things with him, okay? And he finds her at the gym. He's just doing creepy things. But at this point, she graduates from college and she moves to a new place in Miami. She gets a new house, a new place, whatever. And he finds her new address, okay? And then finds her new therapist. And tells the therapist that he wants to start sessions with the therapist in order to prove to Abby that he truly does love her. And so her therapist can show her his perspective and that he does still truly love her. Now, at this point, Abby basically goes off all social media. She wants nothing to do with him. She goes ghost. And she goes to Europe. At this point, when she's in Europe, she's feeling a lot safer and she starts posting photos of her trip in Europe. She posts herself in Ibiza. And at the time, she said she was posting as she was like basically posting her live location. And she was just trying to post a lot because at that time, Snapchat was monetized. But again, she felt super safe. She was with a large group of people. Time had went by. Now, when she's in Europe, she posts a Snapchat being like, oh my God, guys, I got super tan, so my foundation no longer matches my skin tone anymore. I gotta go to Sephora, get new foundation. So she goes to Sephora and she goes with this guy that she becomes close with on the trip. Tell me why Landon pulls up to that same Sephora and finds her in Sephora. And he's like, I need to talk to you, Abby. I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you. Again, literally stalking her to Ibiza, stalking her to a Sephora in Ibiza. Sound familiar? Sound familiar as to how he met Liz? Anyways, he makes this whole scene in the Sephora. Luckily, she's with her guy friend who protects her, and they have a bodyguard, so they leave. At this point, they go to a club, okay, later on in the night. Guess who shows up at the club? Surprise, surprise, Landon. And at the club, he basically sends a bunch of guys to jump the new guy that she is hanging out with and that she's friends with. And then, as they're in the club, he tries to get Abby and her guy friend kicked out of the club, and then proceeds to send Abby thousands of emails being like, talk to me, I'm at this club with you, Oh God, guys. Okay, this is scary because she shows when the last email Landon sent her was. The last email Landon sent to her was July 27th of 2024. Please give me closure and understanding. July 27th. Landon's engagement announcement to Liz, September 30th of 2024. Just a few months later. Go to part 2.
As a betrayal trauma coach, my heart goes out to the wizard Liz because I know exactly what she's going through. I mean, not exactly. Obviously, this is her experience. However, you know, the actual act of being cheated on does not hurt as badly as everything else that accompanies it. The fact that, like, you thought that you found this person who aligned with your values, and then they show you a very different version of themselves after they've already gotten you locked in to a certain extent. And then also, like, it's not like a drunken mistake, not that that would even be okay, but the intentionality behind creating an actual Snapchat account and like trying to go, you know, meet up with somebody and being so intentional about it. That is what hurts so bad, is the number of steps involved in cheating and how kind of pathological people who cheat are, because it's not like one decision that you make. It's a bunch of little decisions that would, you know, result in a much bigger decision. And like, just knowing that they will cheat given that opportunity, and that you wouldn't know about it unless, like, most girls find it themselves, or I think somebody came forward with this and that's how she found out. It's like the deception. It's not, you know, they're not being forthcoming. They're not saying, hey, look, I messed up, I feel terrible about this. They feel terrible that they got caught. They don't feel terrible that they actually did it or like almost did something, you know. And so my heart goes out to her, but I'm so proud, like, from the bottom of my heart, because she had the guts to do what most women won't do, what I didn't even do, while being 4 months pregnant.
I guess we're going to continue to be surprised by these cheating men. Haven't I been telling y'all? They all cheat. The ugly ones cheat. The broke ones cheat. The ones with money cheat. The good ones, you know the good ones? Yeah, those cheat too. Proven with the whole Liz story. Wasn't he like the nice guy? Remember? He was nice and oh so adorable, and he would do TikToks with her, and you know, they meshed well on what they were saying. And look at that shit. Look how that turned out. Look at Catherine, that situation. Listen, the point is they all cheat. I mean, we can take it back. We can take it back to Beyonce days. In fact, let's take it back to the back days. Let's take it back to your uncles, your aunts. Let's take it back to what they went through. Let's take it back to your daddy. What your daddy did to your mama. How about that? But you know what? I will say this. Even when it happened to me, you know what I really thought? That all men cheated except for mine. And that's the worst thing you can think. That's the worst thing you can think.